We go out to the Leah line. We find ourselves Solomon Wilcots, CBS broadcaster. Solomon, you there?
Yeah, I'm here and glad to be on with you.
Hey, we appreciate that. I know you've got a Dr. Holla with you as well. You're taking a trip to the Capital Region. Tell us why you're gracing the Albany area with your presence.
Well, I wasn't able to make it. I tried, and now I'm coming on. I'm still trapped on Cape Cod because my flights were canceled this morning. We got hit with a snowstorm, but we're here to just bring greater awareness to the need to participate in clinical trials. This is a Huddle Up for Alzheimer's Treatments campaign to help people to become greater aware of what they can do to push the final treatments across the goal line so that these treatments become available for the general population. We have some 5 million Americans who have been inflicted with the Alzheimer's disease. It's the 6th leading cause of death in the United States. So the more that we can bring about greater awareness of these new treatments, we're able to help people.
Now, Solomon, either you can answer this or Dr. Hollab can answer this. What do these memory screening tests involve?
Well, they involve, this is Dr. Hollab, they involve a number of questions to recent memory and recall, numbers, spelling, etc., and some drawing. These few questions refer to different networks in the brain, and at the end, the total score adds up. It's a way to get a quick idea if someone's concern is a valid concern or if it deserves further assessment. Only take maybe 12 minutes, and we do have a screening going on at the Desmond on Wednesday night between 5 and 8 for anyone who's interested.
And just to clarify...
And I will say this, that I also participated in a memory screening of this kind during our campaign at Super Bowl 50 in San Francisco. I was happy to say I checked out okay. You know, this is a guy who played 7 years in the NFL. I banged my head a time or two, but the memory came out good. I only struggled with maybe one question. I was asked to, for instance, count backwards from 100 by 7. And I think I didn't get far enough to impress the doctor on that one. But I blamed it on just being numerically dyslexic. So I pretty much did okay.
And Solomon, you're somebody who's played in the NFL before, and Dr. or Solomon, again, either one of you can answer this. We're learning more and more about head injuries in sports, whether it be football, whether it be other sports. When would you recommend taking this test? Is it too soon for whether it be even a high school athlete or someone farther along to take these tests and see where their memory stands and what possibly concussion side effects could happen to them?
I'd be happy to take it. I can say that when you think there's a problem, when things seem more of an issue than they should be, when they're out of the ordinary, that's the time to do it. I think most of the research shows that really, even though high school players develop concussions, the major problems really occur in professional sports like football and ice hockey.
Solomon, what can the NFL do to better protect its players?
Well, I think the National Football League is doing a great deal. I mean, they've contributed millions of dollars for research and to find out exactly what's going on when players are colliding. There are collisions on just about every single play, particularly if you play on the line of scrimmage on offensive, defensive line. The National Football League has done a lot in terms of educating not only players, but coaches, trainers as well. They've done a lot in terms of changing culture. There was a time, at least when I played, if you got dinged, or so to speak, or had a concussion, you didn't dare complain about it. You went back out there, or you could lose your job, or you were seen as maybe being soft or maybe not tough enough. Well, those days have changed. If there's a player who are experiencing some kind of form of concussion or any of those symptoms, they can talk to the coach. In fact, the trainers and the teams are taught to and trained to look after players and look for some of the signs and symptoms. And regardless of what the player is saying, if that player is shown and revealed to have had a concussion, then they're coming out, and they're not going to be put back in there. And they're not going to be, say, teased or harassed or seen as being soft or not up to snuff if they don't come back in. So just the culture itself has changed. Not only the education, attention, and awareness has also changed with it.
Solomon Wilcots and Dr. Holub with us on 104.5 The Team, 104.5theteam.com. We've got that memory screening Wednesday night at the Desmond. Solomon, a 7-year veteran of the NFL. Now you hear him calling NFL games all season long, and we enjoy his coverage of the NFL. So, Solomon, we were just talking about Richard Sherman's comments in which he said that Roger Goodell was just a suit and that, how could he really make and enforce rules because he never played the game. How do you feel about comments like that as an ex-NFL player? Do you think you had to have played the game to fully understand and enforce the game's rules?
I think it's an uninformed comment by Richard Sherman. Obviously, if anyone who knows Roger Goodell, he did play as a youth, he played as a young person, don't necessarily have played in the NFL. No, I grew up listening to broadcasters like Howard Cosell. He called boxing. He entertained us when Frazier and Muhammad Ali fought. But I don't ever remember Howard Cosell putting on gloves or getting in the ring. So I do believe that you can talk about a sport, you can enlighten people about a sport. I think there's custodians of the National Football League, whether they are owners, whether they are officials, whether they are lawyers, whether they're business people, whether they're doctors and trainers. They're considered custodians of our game, and they bring with them a certain expertise that maybe someone who did play don't have. I think you can have a greater enlightenment about the game or about the business of our sport that doesn't necessarily require you to have played it in order to perform in that function or in that role. And so I like to believe that the commissioner is certainly up to his job. He's done a really good job. He's made some mistakes. There's no doubt he recognizes it. And that's why some of these things are under investigation to see exactly should he have full autonomy to punish and penalize players. There certainly should be a different appeals process where we might bring in other people to weigh in on it during the appeals period of it. But I think the commissioner has done a good job. He could do better, and I think he's trying to do better.
Solomon and Dr. Holub will get you out of here on this. We know how important this memory screening test is. We'd like to get people to raise the awareness here in the capital region in Albany. I know there's been use of the hashtag HuddleUpAD. What else can we help do raise the awareness here? Any other things you'd like to share with our listeners?
Yeah, I think just letting people know that, we need to push these new treatments for Alzheimer's across the goal line, that there has been no treatments approved by the FDA in over the last 10 years, with some of the 5 million people who are affected by Alzheimer's. I think it would be a shame to have a solution and treatments and drugs sitting somewhere on the shelf that could help improve the lives of other people, but yet we can't get enough people to participate in clinical trials to make it available to people. So I think we just need to continue to help people to become aware of what that process is all about and just how important it is.
Solomon Wilcots, CBS football broadcaster, played 7 years in the NFL, and with Dr. Holub as well, as they try to help us continue to get the words out on safety and trauma screening. They've got the memory screening Wednesday night at the Desmond. Solomon and Dr. Holub, thanks for being with us.
All right, thanks for having us, guys.